Welcome back to the InherAlchemist TV. In today's video, we're going to take a look into Martell Holt. I feel like he's been a little quiet. I feel like the streets have been jumping with things going on with other cast members. I think it's been, 3 arrests in the last week or so? 3 arrests and a conviction. So, yeah, it's a lot going on down round to the Huntsville. I don't know if it's just a Southern thing where you guys just get arrested for petty shit. I'm from California. It's very, very laid back and chill. You know what I mean? Even when I'm watching Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm like, this is too much. But to their defense, I don't watch TV. So I understand that, TV is dramatic, but this is not my thing. I'm like a laid back, chill, good vibe, have a little drink, laugh, dance on top of tables, paint the town with your friends in the midnight, get in the sunroof. I don't know about all this argument and confrontation and just miserable ass energy on this show. I can't do it. So I survived about maybe 3 seasons because I was away from home and I couldn't record. So I was just watching the show and then live tweeting on the community wall. But yeah, I'm done with that. I'm just going to stick to my cards. I don't need to know another thing. I have a full eye view of what's going on. And I'm going to keep it to myself. I've said as much as I'm going to say. But anyways, I say that to say through all this that's been going on, I ain't heard a peep from Martell or about Martell. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get into these cards and see what's going on. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Before we get started, like the video, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and that you're turning your notification bells on. So that you know when I'm going live. I have that schedule where 1 week I'm popping, next week I'm off. It just has to do with me being in home versus in the office and so forth. Don't forget to check me out on the InherAlchemist. Pick up your spray so that you can get going, right? It's meant to get you going. So check me out on the InherAlchemist. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this reading. Now, full disclosure, I did do a spread on Martell maybe like 2 or 3 days ago because I got back home Friday or Thursday. I can't remember. But it's graduation season. My allergies still been kicking my ass. It's been a lot going on. I think all the kids in the family are graduating, and everybody's graduating this year, going from middle school to high school to college. It's been a lot. But anyways, I did do a little spread on Martell. I just didn't get a chance to record it because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And by the time I got done doing the spread, I just didn't have the energy to talk. But in that spread was just basically saying that Martell is motivated by like chivalry, and that he has like this desire to prove himself a good person, and he's trying to figure out like how to do that. He's trying to protect his chivalry or defend his honor, if you will. I don't know if this is in the eyes of the public or just in the eyes of whoever, but to me it felt more so authentic of him feeling like, no, I have to protect my honor, or I have to defend my honor. Now, having said that, I started fresh with this new spread today, and we're going to get into it. So the spread opens up with the Justice card, and obviously we know that Martell and Melody are in the middle of like a legal battle. Now, the Justice card is being crossed by the Star card, and this is actually a very good omen. On the one hand, this is like somebody who's hoping that something is just done fair, that they get a fair shake, that they don't take any losses. On the other hand, it's showing that the person actually won something, or will win something, or will receive some type of justice as far as like a legal situation. Now this isn't a current position, not the future position. So I was thinking like maybe this is just pertaining to the win of the appeal, like the win of the decision for there to be an appeal as opposed to the actual appeal case. Because like I said, this is showing now. It's not showing in the near future or something like that. I know people are in the comments like, oh, I don't know why he's fighting. He's going to get more time and this and that and the third. An appeal is different than a plea deal. He's not, if he the appeal, you don't really have nothing to lose by appealing already conviction. The it is what it is. So anybody would appeal because it's a chance to get a better result, but the results are not going to get worse. I think the situation where the results get worse is if you turn down a plea deal, meaning that, okay, if you claim you're guilty, we'll reduce your time, but if you take it to trial, then we're going to charge you for the full amount. You know what I mean? Appeal, I don't think an appeal is like that. I think the appeal is saying you're convicted, you're charged, you're guilty, and this is the sentence for that crime. And then the appeal is saying, wait, I want to appeal that decision because of X, Y, and Z, but that's not going to result in more time unless he, does something and presents something that, indicates him in more of a crime. So I did want to clarify that, because that's what a lot of people were saying in the comments. And that's what it is, right? Now, whatever the outcome is for the situation, however it lands up, the justice card is saying that balance is going to be brought. Because the justice card is about, it's like making something equal. You know what I mean? It's like leveling the playing field. It's about making things fair. And to be honest, Martell does have the Tower in reverse as well as the Hierophant in reverse. And both of these cards were in the recent past. And the Tower in reverse can sometimes, it sometimes represents a situation that definitely had some unfairness to it. But it's more of like being oppressed, or just having like we know, like having like a foot on your neck type of situation. But it's also saying that as a person, he's stronger than the foot that's on his neck. You know what I mean? So he's showing as the stronger person in a situation. And when the Tower is in reverse, it shows that in the end, you're going to prevail. So again, this is the recent past, and that Justice card is a present. So I don't know if this is pertaining to him just simply winning his appeal, or if he's going to win the actual case of the appeal. The Tower in reverse is also saying that Martell, there was like some false or misleading information that was given to him by other people. You know what I mean? And I feel like he's realizing that people were like playing him or lying to him. And his downfall wasn't necessarily the result of his own ego or his own actions for the sake of it. It was more so like somebody was playing with his emotions, like misrepresenting information, telling him that he should go in one direction or another. And I clarified that because I'm like, well, who exactly was doing this? And the Hierophant came up, and we know that the Hierophant stands for like organizations. So it kind of was giving me the impression that maybe Martell was like advised to take certain steps or do certain things for the benefit of the show or to create drama in the show. But it was given to him in a way where he thought like this advice was sincere, but somebody was like misrepresenting like the facts to him. And the Tower in verse is like saying that you in a shithole because you was listening to other people or being influenced by other people's misleading information or something like that. Now, the Tower also does say that Martell was falsely accused of something. What that something is, I'm not sure. Like I said, I clarified that Tower card. I got the Hierophant, right? And that to me has something to do with like the organization. And so this is saying that because he was falsely accused, yes, he did suffer a downfall, but he's going to be able to bounce back. Or it's still recoverable. Like he can recover from it. He's not dead. He just down. You know how like in a 10 of swords picture they got a person laying on the ground with 10 swords in their back, but if you look close at the card, the person looked like they got their fingers crossed. You know what I mean? So to me, I've always gotten the impression that I just look like I'm down, but I'm gonna get up. You know what I mean? Like he's not out of it. But basically it's like saying like whatever impact this situation had, it's not going to be as severe as what it may look like. It's not like he's not going to be completely destroyed by it. It's more so to me a sense of him being oppressed by it. And like I said, for me, oppression means foot on your neck, whether that's by the universe or whatever else. But when the Tower comes in reverse, it's almost like saying that you are going to have a chance to rebuild and get yourself back together. Now, the Hierophant coming in reverse to clarify that Tower card. I feel like not. First of all, Martell, he's definitely on his own. He's the majority of people are not with him. You know what I mean? Because when the Hierophant is in reverse, that's like saying you in the minority, you not in the majority. So I think that's also what's leading to that sense of oppression. But it also could be, to me, some of the language that was used and saying that, you know, like maybe somebody was telling him like, you at a disadvantage, you know, the major people ain't looking at you this way, or something like that. And then so he was like, I don't know, maybe motivated to be more aggressive or more something, feeling like he needed to counter that, you know what I mean, or something like that. I feel like that's what I'm getting from that situation. I feel like it. But anyways, that's the recent past. So let's move forward. Now, in the subconscious, or what's moving behind the scene, or what's going on in his heart, his mind, or like I said, the unconscious desire of the situation, is the High Priestess, clarified by the Hermit. So he's trying to bring to light some secrets. He's trying to shine a light on things that cannot be seen. He's trying to, I don't want to say expose, because I don't want to overblow that word, but the hermit is a seeker. The hermit is someone that wants to illuminate, and the High Priestess is someone that hides things behind a demure demeanor. And the High Priestess is like somebody who has like a big, you know how they say your slip is showing, or you go to church and they put the cloth over their knees to cover up a lot of their like bad actions and things like that, metaphorically. The hermit facing this High Priestess in this situation is saying, I want the secrets illuminated, I want this person shown, you know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of his motivation is to kind of like show the situation for what it is. But based on this spread, honestly, I think that he is going to win that, or get a chance to do that, but the victory is going to be empty, and it's not going to be like, it's not going to give him the advantage that he thought it would. It's not even going to be bittersweet. It's just going to be something where like you ain't even have to do that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it might work, you know what I mean? Now, in the conscious environment, or what's over him or crowning him, or whatever you want to call it, is the Eight of Cups, clarified by the Four of Cups, and then that's clarified by the Page of Swords in reverse. So the Page of Swords in reverse could represent a girl child, or just a woman in general. Could represent gossip, definitely bloggers, definitely some female figure that's in the situation that's like gassing him or in his ear about something. But at the same time, I can see the Four of Cups and the Page of Swords in reverse as him deciding not to listen to the gossip, not paying attention to the blogs, because it's affecting the way that he feels about himself. And so he doesn't want to look at it as kind of like a defense mechanism, and saying like, I'm just gonna ignore them, I don't want nothing to do with that, you know, something like that. Now the eight of cups is like you abandoning something that you worked for. Now that could be emotionally, like relationship wise, because it is cups energy, but it doesn't have to be. It's just saying that something you put a lot of energy into, you have to walk away and detach, you know what I mean, for your own mental health and well-being. And it also represents him maybe like thinking of like going on some type of spiritual journey. I feel like, honestly, just looking at this spread with the Star card, with the Eight of Cups, with the High Priestess, with the Hermit, I feel like overall Martell is definitely trying to get to know himself. He's on like some type of journey or exploration of self. Like he really wants to understand himself. He wants to understand what makes him tick. And I feel like he's trying to get to know himself, and he has to kind of like block out what everybody is telling him about himself and try to like rely on his own instinct and information, because he's getting a lot of outside stimulus, whether it's from friends, families, lovers, women, gossip, blogs, just people having their opinion about the situation. All of that affects the way he sees himself. He really truly is a blank canvas. And I know I stressed that out when I did the psychological breakdown of him, where it was more so from a perspective of you have no identity. But in this situation, this is showing like, no, you literally have no identity, and not from an entertainment standpoint. You know, I mean, you know, when I do my tarot readings, I do I do make them entertaining for the show. You know what I mean? So they're laced with a little bit more drama, a little bit more spice. But if I were to be helping him as a client and viewing him holistically as a client, this I would tell him the same thing. I just wouldn't say it in a way that was like mocking. You know what I mean? Like trying to be like snappy for the show. But it is true. He literally has no sense of self. It is true in the depths of his soul. He has. Let me turn this radio down. He's lacking self-awareness, or he's lacking a deep understanding of who he is as a person. But this Eight of Cups is here saying that he's turning his back on listening to what people have to say, taking advice from other people, looking at him, viewing himself through the eyes of other people and what people are telling him he is. He's not trying to hear none of that shit no more, and he's really trying to like go within and figure out like what he understands about himself and what he really thinks about his own self. That's what he's trying to do. And I feel like because he put so much attention and time into vanity, and really even with this Hierophant in reverse, he really was trying to like conform to maybe traditional standards or traditional ways of being. And I think that he's like realizing that maybe I'm not even all that traditional. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not like this straight-laced, leave it to Beaver type of dad, Stepford father, Stepford husband. Maybe he was like a Stepford husband in his own mind. And maybe that was like the identity that he was trying to create for himself. Like, I'm a good man, I'm a provider, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, like all the textbook things that people would associate with being a good man. I feel like with the Hierophant in reverse, I feel like he's like realizing that that's not really him. He's more of like an innovator, or he's more of a creative, or I don't know. Like I said, to me, from looking at his spreads, I see him as more of a feminine spirit. And I don't say that in a negative way. I just say that to say that you need to stop doing things like playing with cars and houses and go do something with like fashion or modeling, or something like where you style women, or something more fluid and more soothing to your soul. But I think that he overcompensates and tries to be extra masculine, thinking that doing those other things makes him not masculine. And I personally think that that's what his internal imbalance is. But I don't know that man. I'm just judging him by the character profile that shows up in the cards, right? In any event, the Eight of Cups, they walk away because there's definitely some disappointment there. You know what I mean? And now he has a sense of, okay, I'm gonna leave this behind, or I'm gonna walk away from this shit on my own terms. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna push me out of it. Maybe he was digging his heels in because he thought he was being forced out. Now he's like, okay, I'm gonna let it go on my own terms, because I need to look for something higher. And a lot of what he conformed his personality into was for money and trying to be materialistic and trying to have the nice, finer things in life. And now it was like at the sacrifice of maybe like a kind personality, or maybe he used to just be kind and have a beautiful personality, and then he got into the pursuit of money or material things, and now he's like having to release that or banish that. You know what I mean? That's kind of what the Eight of Cups is about in this spread for him. It's about him leaving whatever environment that he created and trying to go towards or find some type of higher purpose, and that being like the key to giving him like some type of release emotionally. Because with the Four of Cups being here, there's definitely like a slight depression, but the depression is based on like introspection and really trying to like look at yourself and see who you are, right? Four of Cups here is like you reevaluating yourself, or you reflecting on yourself, and it's about he been wanting something different out of life for a long time. I don't feel like Martell has been very happy, quote unquote, for a while. But I don't think it has anything to do with anybody else. I just think he just has always wanted something different, and maybe he didn't have the confidence. Maybe he's not living in his truth. I don't know. Maybe there's no sex here, but shit, I don't know. Like, maybe it's a sexuality thing. I've seen that in previous spreads. Maybe that's part of his truth. I don't know. I'm not trying to say that because I'm beyond the dragging. You know what I mean? I don't want to like put nothing out there that's gonna humiliate him, but at the same time, I'm getting a feeling like, maybe you're not living in your truth. Like, maybe, I don't know, like maybe you need to come out the closet or something like that. It's just what's coming to me. But anyway, so he's been wanting more. He's been wanting something different than what his environment could give him. Now, I don't know if that has to do with just being in Alabama too. Like maybe he wants to go see the city, or maybe he should have saw the city. Maybe he should have moved out west. Maybe he should have moved up north. Maybe he should have moved, maybe he just needs to be out of Huntsville. But to that point, in that initial spread I saw him, I showed that he's not gonna be moving and he can't move. So you're stuck for whatever reason, right? But there was always a sense in Martell of longing for something different and longing to be somewhere different. And now he's at a point where he's like reflecting and he's feeling just unsatisfied just with the path he took, the choices that he made, the path that he's on. And he's closing himself off. He's closing himself off from everybody and everything because he's thinking right now. Now, I will say with the Four of Cups and the Page of Swords in reverse, he's also thinking about how to get an advantage in the situation. He's researching. I don't know if he's like researching like the law, because the Justice card is here. The Page of Swords is there in reverse. Those are both legal situations. So he might be looking into the law about something. He might be pulling some receipts about something. He might be going through old messages, old emails, but he's definitely, there is to me a sense of him planning and plotting along with this self-reflection and self-introspection. And like I said, I feel like he's trying to find his way out of something, and I feel like he will, because there's a victory here. Like I said, I don't know if that's a future victory or a current victory, but to me it's giving me the impression that you shouldn't even done that. It wasn't worth it. Like, it's not gonna achieve what you hoped it would achieve, and what he's hoping that it will achieve is defending his honor. But it feels like the move that he's gonna make is not gonna even do that, but it is gonna be like vindication. It's just not gonna be what he thought it was, you know what I mean? But anyways, he's unhappy. He's pretending not to be interested in anybody, anything, as kind of like a way to defend himself from gossip, envy, lies. Like, he's realizing people are hating on him, envious of him, and he's acting like he doesn't care, because I feel like that's his way of defending himself. You know what I mean? I feel like he's not accepting invitations. He's not trying to go to people's shit. There's opportunities maybe with this Four of Cups that people are offering him. He's saying no. He's not in a mood. What he is trying to do is sit around and figure out like what his next steps should be. And like I said, I feel like that has to do with like a legal situation. Now, I mentioned something about a girl child. That definitely is figuring strongly to me for some reason with this Page of Swords. I don't know. It's something about the ponytail. So I don't know if maybe he misses this child, or he's separated from, one of these children or something like that he's thinking about heavy. It could be something like that, because it's definitely like, I don't know, maybe he like talked to one of his daughters a lot, or maybe they just had a close relationship where they talked a lot or something like that. And with this Eight of Cups and this Four of Cups, I'm feeling like he missed that, or something's missing from that, and something like that. There's some fear here though with the Page of Swords being in reverse. Maybe he fears like that people don't want to talk to him with the Four of Cups, because the Four of Cups, it's almost like, with the Page of Swords, I'm feeling like you fear somebody won't take your offer for some type of like emotional comfort or a conversation or something like that. Martell, like I said, he is letting people's judgments of him, people's opinions, gossip, envy, all of that shit is getting to him. It is affecting the way that he looks at himself. And I feel like with the Page of Swords, and even with the Four of Cups and the Eight of Cups, the cards are telling him like, don't care so much what other people think about you. You know what I mean? And I feel like that has maybe made him conform. But even though he had a upbringing that was not traditional, he had an upbringing that was totally different from what he's showing society, because he was like he was like misled to believe that that is what he should do for material gain, but it's not him. It's not the real him. Whatever he's trying to put out, it was just him conforming. And this is saying like, you need to stop caring what other people think, because I feel like that motivates him a lot in some way. There's a woman here too that is negatively influencing or impacting him. Maybe that's Ariane. I don't know. I personally, just looking at their spreads, think that she has a negative impact on his life, not a positive one. But Melody also has a negative impact on his life. So I can't dumble it down to her, but the Page of Swords is usually dark skin, and I feel like Melody is more caramel or fair skin. So I would say, if I had to guess, it would be Ariane. But anyways, the Page of Swords also is talking about having self-control, and again, not letting other people's judgment make you like act out or act some type of way, you know what I mean? And he needs to learn how to self-soothe and how to just sit back and wait and just kind of like just chill, you know what I mean? Just really chill and not be so reactive to the opinions of other people. So near future, this is him again, the Three of Wands and the Fool card. This is him contemplating. This is him thinking about how he can leave the past behind and start over, and what might be the best thing for him to do. Now with the Fool card in reverse, this is saying that whatever you thinking about, that ain't the best decision to make. Like I said, I'm thinking he's thinking about a way to, I don't know, to level up the score, or even up the situation when it comes to court. And overall, it's just not gonna be the right decision for him to make. Period. And with the Fool card, this is like somebody that's being reckless, or somebody that has a disregard of consequences. And so the way that I would see it pertaining to their situation is, you need to stick focused on your own shit, instead of maybe trying to focus on exposing somebody for their shit. Now, I know that there may be a sense of you needing to be vindicated, or you feel like people have the miscorrect perception of you, and you want to balance it out by telling the truth about the other person. These cards are saying, no, you had a disregard for consequences. You were being reckless and spontaneous or whatever, and you need to focus on that, and not focus on showing other people for who they were, but really focus on your own actions, which were motivated. A lot of Martell shit seems to have been motivated by external pressures, or opinions, or man, like he really just does not have like a strong sense of self. It's true. Definitely. And these cards in a future position is saying that's what you need to do, because with the Fool card being in reverse, either you're gonna get a huge success or it's gonna be a huge failure. Now I will say, with the Three of Wands being here, this is a success, because these are plans that were put into motion and you sitting back and waiting for your ships to come in. But I can't deny that Fool card in reverse here is saying that, but you behaved recklessly too, but you did some shit that was out of line too, and you need to focus on that. You know what I mean? Martell was naive. He was a damn fool. And that increases your chances of failure, and that is there. But the Three of Wands is a highly successful card, and I can't deny that too. So I don't know, this combination of cards is showing both potential for success and failure, so it's not giving me a clear outcome of how things are going to turn out. Now he himself, he's coming in as a Death card in reverse. This is just somebody that don't want to change, just period, point blank. I feel like maybe they should change, but they don't want to, or they're having a hard time changing. And then it's clarified by the Six of Wands. That's ego. You know what I mean? Or I don't even want to say ego so much. It's more so pride and vanity. The Six of Wands is more so like having the applause of the crowd in a way. You know what I mean? So, but the Death card in reverse, this is like you being stuck because you won't change. And all of this shit you have going on, nothing has been accomplished. And a lot of your disappointment has come because you plateaued and you don't want to let it go and move on. and he feels like he should be at a different stage in his life. He feels like shit should have been over with, but nothing is progressing, nothing is moving forward because there's a blockage. Period. You know what I mean? I don't want to say period point blank because I'm always saying that. But I feel like that there's a lot of pain, like I said, on the community wall. There's a lot of pain associated with healing, and it's like the transition from being one person to another is painful. And maybe with the death card, he has been trying to avoid feeling that pain of coming into, like, I guess, coming into the realization of who he is on the inside, or the realization that he is nobody, but not from a material accomplishment perspective, that too, but on the inside he feels like nobody, like who am I? That's the biggest question. I feel like is the overall energy of the spread is him saying, who am I? And him genuinely trying to figure out who he is. You know what I mean? He's genuinely wanting to move forward, but nothing is happening. And with the death card, it's saying that nothing is happening because you're resisting change. And I don't know, it's like this guy, right? This guy I'm dealing with, right? I don't know. He got some type of work injury because he works, right? And it triggered like an arthritis, right? And so he's like, yeah, I'm finna go to Miami. And, you know, he's a traveler. He likes to travel a lot. So he's like, I'm going here, there. And I'm just keep going till God tells me to stop. And I'm like, nigga, like, I don't know how many ways God got to tell you, but you literally got arthritis. Like, you need to, you know, and arthritis, any itis is inflammation, which means that you need to not necessarily sit down, but you need to, like, you know, get an anti-inflammatory regimen, this, that, and the third. And I'm thinking, like, how do people think that God talks? He talks through your circumstances. He talks through breaking all your shit down. He talks through in relationships you keep trying to make work that ain't working. Like, how many times do God have to tell you? You know what I mean? So at some point you got to realize God been saying go, God been saying no, but your ego has desired something different. And because your ego decided and not God, what's yielding the results of that are not going to be God's decision for you. And I know people judge people's success by money. Money ain't success. Peace is success. Peace, good health, prosperity, that's success. Because it's a lot of people wiping their faces with $100 bills, can't sleep, crying at night, miserable, you know, anxious. Like, that's not the success. So you can't look at money and say, oh, if I were not so blessed, then why do I have all these things? That ain't got nothing to do with it. All it takes is one good house fire to wipe you out. And I know that because at the time of my mother's death, I was highly successful. And I was, you know, I had just got my real estate license. I was young. I was maybe 25, had just sold my house, my first 2 homes. I was on top of the world. And, you know, I was even feeling good enough to make up with my mom for being so upset. And, you know, like, let's move in together. Like, let's be friends. Like, let's do business. All these things and hopes and dreams. And I felt just really good. And she died a week later after me finally contending with all of the past and this, that, and the third. And I say that to say that you think that success equals a solid foundation, and it doesn't, because that shit can get ripped from under your feet in no time. And things come up for you. The grief cycle, it's not just about, oh, denial, anger. No, it's about realizing the interconnectedness of people who are generationally and karmically tied to you, like your parent. You know what I mean? Like, you would think, like, okay, if you're not close to your parent, you're not going to be as affected by their death. And it's like, you're going to be more affected. You know what I mean? Because now you've inherited where they left off in life. You know what I mean? Compiled with your own issues because they didn't finish their mission, or they finished their mission, but they left prematurely. And you are a continuation of your parents' karma. And it's not a sins of the fathers thing. It's just that's what lineage is. It's you continuing and picking up where they left off. And hopefully you defeat the levels, you know what I mean? So that your future generations can live free. You know what I mean? I feel like I lost a lot of my family members, and I feel like that's a lot of the motivation behind my desire to free the captives. And when I talk about things like energy cleansing and alchemizing energy and getting rid of depression, all of the shit that I offer is shit that I've overcome and been through, or I wouldn't be in a position to offer the solution to it. But I feel like it's just heavily part of my mission to help people along their journey, because I didn't have that help. I had to figure out everything by myself, and I suffered greatly through that learning. You know what I mean? So it's very, very specific and special and important to me, what I'm doing to help other people. You know what I mean? It's like a heart thing, right? But anyways, like I said, this death card is a refusal. It's a refusal on your part to change. It's a refusal on your part to let go and move on. And the death card being here is saying that that's exactly what you need to do. You need to be more fluid and more flexible. And again, Martell, his external energy, because he is a man, maybe he feels like he needs to stick his heels in and stand up for himself and defend his honor and go to war, and treating this like it's a competition ground. And the death card here to me is leaning more towards feminine energy and saying, no, you need to be more fluid in how you're viewing the situation and the multiple ways in which you can resolve the shit. And standing your ground is not the only way. And this could be for Melody and Martell. Standing your ground is not the only way to win something. It's just not. You know what I mean? It's just not. The Six of Wands is here. Generally, the Six of Wands is again another card of victory. You know what I mean? It's a card of success. So again, I feel like there's some type of success or something that Martell is able to illuminate in some type of way that is going to give him some type of vindication. It's just something that is short-lived. You know what I mean? It is good news. It is advancing. It is, getting ahead. But it's not something that's going to bring fulfillment. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel like with this Hermit card and this High Priestess, I feel like you proved your point. You illuminated something. But it's an empty victory. It's not the feeling you thought you would have. You know what I mean? You're not going to get that high. It's just simply saying that maybe now you'll progress, or maybe now people might work with you who didn't work with you before, something like that. But Six of Wands here after the Death card, in reverse, it is saying that there is some type of victory. But it's also saying like you got a long way to go, and your ultimate success or your long-term success is dependent on you changing in some type of way. And you not changing is going to land you in a similar situation in the future. So it won't even matter that you got over this or you got over that. You know what I mean? Let's move forward. My video is going on and on and on. Okay, let me wrap it up. So next up, external position. Now this is where I got confused, because he did have the Five of Swords in reverse, and this is external, and then he had it clarified by the Temperance card. And then we have the Justice card here. This is all of these cards are saying something's going to be balanced out. Something's going to be fair. And and the Temperance is like, to me, a divine intervention coming in to, I don't want to say lend you a hand per se, but like I said, alchemize, balance the situation. Because with the Five of Swords here, the deck and the Tower in reverse, the deck has been unfairly stacked against Martell. That's a fact, according to the tarot cards in this spread. And a lot of it has to do with gossip, lies, misinformation, misrepresentation, and flat out lies, and being falsely accused. And the Temperance is here in the external environment to level the playing field, if you will, or to balance the things out. Now, the Five of Swords in the external environment is saying that he was defeated disproportionately, or like he lost, he was disadvantaged. He was disadvantaged. I'm gonna just put it that way. But it's also saying that you need to accept these little losses and move on. But I feel like he's not moving on because it's tied to his projection of masculinity, which is to be strong, stand your ground, fight for your right. He thinks of it as chivalry, but that's just him conforming to definitions of patriarchal masculinity, whereas he's more of a yin or a female energy that can be more flexible and let things go. You know what I mean? Like Martell knows how to let things go. I don't, maybe somebody was like trying to like encourage him to stand up for himself or to dig his heels in and making him believe like, no, you don't want to be weak. You need to do this and you need to do that. But maybe he within himself is more of a person that is actually able to let things go. But he was like told that he needs to like fight back, and so he did, and then it's like over, you know what I mean, overly digging his heels in, and now he can't strip that false identity, you know what I mean. That's kind of like what this is saying. But yeah, definitely five of swords in reverse is like saying that there was some past transgressions, and with this temperance card, this is saying that it's time to pay up, and this is his external environment. This is like, to me, giving a sense of, what is it, like restitution, or it's like saying that someone in his external environment, because of their past transgressions, and now it's their time, you know what I mean, it's their time to come and answer to the situation. But whoever this is, it's saying that you need to put some distance between yourself and the situation. Like maybe you got an unfair advantage, maybe you have the upper hand, now payback is coming, and you need to like distance like how you were handling the situation. You need to fall back from that, because it's gonna be some harm coming. You know what I mean? And you don't want to take no losses, because you can't, you know, get your foot off the neck per se, because the Five of Swords is like saying you got the upper hand in a slick dishonorable way, and now the Temperance is coming in to check that situation, you know what I mean. So I definitely feel like that's advice from the external position, whatever that's pertaining to, whether it's pertaining to Marceau and the cast. Like I said, I feel like they played heavily into dividing them. The Emperor is here, the Hierophant is here. That to me plays into the organization. It could be the show. You know, maybe a lot of that did just kind of like, you know, disadvantage the situation in a lot of way. And it's saying that y'all need to put some distance in it, or there's going to be a lot of harm to the situation. And that could be the show or the network taking a hit for putting so many people out of balance, you know what I mean? And the Temperance is coming in to balance out that situation. And like I said, I feel like he was gassed up. I feel like people was in his ear telling him this, telling him that, and he just lost himself. But it was all for the pursuit of money. It really, really was, especially according to the spread. 8 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands. This is all about money. All right, so moving right along. We have that 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands. This is 2 5s in here. This is 3 5s in here. 5 of Swords, 5 of Wands, and then, oh no, that was a 6 of Wands. My bad. But anyways, this 5 of Wands is competitive energy. But at the same time, it's clarified by the 5 of Cups. So that's a loss that you regret. You know what I mean? So I feel like maybe with the 5 of Wands, maybe there was like competition, maybe you ended up with the upper hand, or maybe, like I said, that you will win something, but the win is so temporary, and then the long term is you like losing in the end or having regrets in the end. Now the 5 of Cups is also a sense of grief. So like I said, I saw in that previous spread, I don't know if there was a loss of a child or something like that. That could certainly be it. But in this spread, this is like saying, I feel like maybe there was like a competition or something, and maybe there was like some infighting, or somebody won, or something like that. But there's a sense of loss associated with that win. But I feel like with the 5 of Wands coming in reverse, I feel like this is like somebody getting back on track after that loss. It's almost like you proved your point, you won over the competition, and now it's time for you to get back forward moving, but it's still going to require some internal change on your part, or you're still going to be in the same position. You know what I mean? The five of Wands is like it's this competition or this domination, whatever this situation is. This shit was cutthroat, whatever he had going on, whether it's at work, because I feel like it's a lot of business situations. And from business, I could mean the show. But the Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles, these are like, to me, this is like work relationships as well. There's a lot of emotional energy in here too, so it could be relationships as well. But this is saying you was in something with other people and it was real cutthroat, but that you won, you dominated in the end. You know what I mean? And that the fight is over, and that everybody coming at each other is gonna be calmed down. Temperance, divine energy, the justice card here, the star card here. Yeah, you look like you won. You look like you win. You're gonna win something. But with this Five of Cups, I just can't help but see this as an empty victory. This is something that I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. You know how you do something and you win, but it just doesn't, it's just not the win you thought it would be. It's like you lost. Oh, that's what I want to say. It's like you won, but at the expense of what? You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's what's going on with Martell Holt. I went way longer than I thought I would. But yeah, it is what it is. So anyways, listen, please like the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you care to, y'all probably scared to talk to me. Like I told y'all, I'll talk back, but I'm not really biting your head off. I'm just giving pushback. Y'all got to be more resilient and stop being so sensitive to rejection. Rejection is a heavy issue over in this sector, and that's something that we're gonna have to work through, you guys. And I want to relate that to kind of like narcissism, because a lot of what women are perceiving as narcissistic abuse, it's just a long drawn out process of rejection. You know what I mean? And men who can't communicate, don't want to communicate, and then so they end up trying to manipulate situations to get out of things that they're not wanting to be in because they don't have the communication skills. But that's a video for another day. Yeah, so that's all I got. Check me out on the Inner Alchemist at Etsy, and I'll see you guys on the next one.